Happy Saturday, everybody, and welcome back to We Can Do This. I am Julie Vallon, your hostess, and I have to tell you, I'm a little disappointed today. We have had some wonderful weather here in Western Pennsylvania the last couple of days. It's been in the 70s, and it even went up to the low 80s yesterday. Some very exciting stuff, but I got to tell you, why is it? And does everybody else see this, or is it just me? Why is it we always have the great, wonderful weather while we're at work during the week? Then when you get to the weekend, it is just rainy and gloomy and just yucky here today. But I'm going to tell you, I don't know, I think you see this backwards on your screen, but I am wearing my Denver Broncos jersey today. And I'm sure some of you will say, what is wrong with you? What are you doing wearing a Denver Broncos jersey in Western Pennsylvania? Where's the steel curtain support? Where's those Steelers? Go Steelers, the terrible towels, where's all that? Well, I have to tell you, I have been a Bronco fan for probably at least 30 years of my life, or if not longer. And here's why. It actually has nothing to do with football. Back when I was in high school, I was dating a guy who I felt looked like John Elway. And as a teenager, I was in love with John Elway. So the Broncos kind of became my team. And I am not a big NFL fan. You know me, I'm the big college football person. I will watch college football till the cows come home. I am not a big fan of NFL. But if I'm not cheering for the Broncos, I will, of course, cheer for the Steelers. But I'm not a diehard. In fact, I'll tell you this because I took my life in my own hands. I'm just saying. The one year that the Broncos played the Steelers at the Super Bowl, I was the only one at a Super Bowl party. I was the only one who was there rooting for Denver, and they won. Yeah. It was pretty brutal. It was pretty brutal. It was ugly. I'm not gonna lie. It was ugly. I was happy, and I was the only happy person in the room. But I did it. I lived through it, and I to this day still love Denver. I don't watch NFL football too much anymore since I've gone to college. But hey, John Elway, Denver Broncos, you're still mine. So with that being said, I am very happy to be here again today, to be with you, and to talk about the topic of selfish people. How do we recognize them, and what can we do about them? Because we've all seen them, we've all experienced them. But before I begin, I would ask that you please subscribe down below. And along with subscribing, I would love it if you give me that big thumbs up. I love seeing the thumbs up. It means you love what I'm doing. You love what I'm bringing to you. And I love bringing it to you. I love it. I'm having a great time doing this. And I'm helping you even better. I know I'm helping myself, believe it or not. I help myself whenever I do this research. I'm learning along right with you. And I'm always a work in progress. All my life I've been a work in progress, and there's no end to it. Until the day I'm no longer here. Every day I'm looking for new things. I'm learning new things, and there were one or two facts that I found in researching this topic, which kind of surprised me. So, and one of them I'm going to start with, because the one thing I found is that selfish people don't know they're selfish. They don't know they're being selfish. All they know is that what they care about the most is their own happiness more than anything else. And in their journey to find that happiness, they will just walk all over anyone they need to. They will do whatever they have to do. They will intentionally walk all over everybody just to get what's going to make them happy, which frankly I find kind of pathetic, but that's just me. they're very, their needs, the needs and the feelings of others don't matter. You know, it's just all about them, you know, and that's the bottom line. Doesn't matter what it takes to get them there, doesn't matter what it takes to keep them there. That's where they are, that's where they'll stay. And they are just like a vacuum cleaner to your emotions and your feelings. They will just suck all of the caring nature out of you. They will just suck sharing. They will just suck every good emotion that you have out of you. You will never get anything back from these people in return because they feel that you need them more than they need you. You've got nothing to offer. There's nothing on the table. You got nothing to offer. They are just the cat's meow, and they can make your life absolutely miserable, right? And you've seen it, you've lived it. I've seen it. I've lived it. They are the best definition of a narcissist. That is totally what these people are. They are self-involved, they're self-centered, they are and they're manipulative, right? They are manipulative, like beyond belief. And once you drop your guard around these people, you do see them for what they are. There are some signs, that we see whenever we get around these types of people. And like I said, they are very much a manipulator. They always say that the problem is somebody else. They're never the problem. They're never at fault. They are a total control freak. Totally. It only means that if their needs are being met, that's all that matters to them. That is the goal. And since they don't know that they're selfish and they have this twisted idea of what happiness is, this is something that they're not born with. And I was surprised whenever I found that out. This is something they're not born with. They actually develop this over time. It's something that they've learned. It's something that they've grown with. It's something that they've developed, and it's something that they continue to do over time. I mean, they're always looking out to get something for their own benefit. They don't care if it benefits everyone else. It's just because it's all about them. That's what they're looking for. And what they do is they will gain control in your life, so that you become an unwilling participant in what their plan is and what their goal is, to reach this happiness definition that they have about themselves. They are totally uncaring to anybody else. They don't care what your needs are. They will do everything to make you feel guilty. And even if you're upset about something, they will make you feel guilty because of how you're feeling about something. Now, with that being said, I'm going to give you an example. And I'm not going to give any names, but I've had some selfish people in my past. And there was one in particular, and I won't say if it was male or female, but there was a group of us who used to go out years ago. This is nothing recent. This was years ago. And anytime we'd make a night out of it, just go out to eat. It'd be a bunch of couples, just hanging out. And one of these people that were with us, every time we'd go to a restaurant, a bar, it didn't matter where we went, it had to be their way. It had to be their table, or it had to be their place, wherever they wanted to sit at the bar, or, nothing was good enough for them. There was always a complaint to the waitress. Everything always had to be their way. And this one person made a night out miserable. When your night out starts like that, if this person didn't get their way from minute one and everybody just didn't bow to what this person wanted, it was just miserable the rest of the night, and it wasn't even fun. And, when you go out, to take a break and you want to laugh, you want to relax, you want to have some fun. And, this person you just didn't look forward to going out if you knew this person was going to be there because they were the way they were. And they were always like that. I mean, this wasn't a one-shot deal. I'm talking this was every time. And when you get around these types of people, it affects you. It affects you mentally. Like I said, they're draining. They just drain the living fun out of you sometimes. And you cannot rely on these types of people. They are going to put themselves first all the time at your expense. And that's not fun for anybody except them. And when that happens time after time after time, you don't want to do anything with that person. You don't want to be around that person anymore. They're so self-centered. They're just so conceited. And since they always want to be first, they are going to be the ones who are going to put you down every time. Everything they say is important. And anything you say doesn't mean a hell of beans of difference. Whatever you say doesn't matter. You are nothing to them. Nothing. You are just something that they can use to make themselves feel better and higher about themselves. You are going to find yourself in a position where you are going to be giving into them, like what we did, what we experienced. You are constantly going to have to give in to these people. One of the things you can do in those situations, you can just ignore them. Sometimes when we would go out and this would happen, after we'd get over that original hump, that moment, and if things would go her way, then the rest of the evening was great and it was fine. But you can't let that affect your personality. You can't let just ignore them, and I know it's hard. I know it's hard to be sucked into it. It's very easy to do that. But you need to try and you need to be aware of it. These are the types of people, they don't care. They don't share. They don't give. They don't have those sides to them. They will never do an exchange thing. Like if they give you something, they definitely want something back from you. But if you give them something, they don't have to give anything back to you. So it's an unbalanced relationship. And after a while, if they do something good and you don't like ooze and be gooey all over them, they really get offended by that, and they really get defensive about that, because they're putting their own goals ahead of everybody else, but what they don't, and what selfish people need is other people, because that's what they feed off of. So, they are not ever going to do anything free for you. There's always a cost with them, even if it's not tangible. There's always a cost whenever you are with these types of people. Now, you can try your best. Don't give in to these people, but I will tell you, they make it tough. You and I both know that. It's very tough to deal with someone like this. You need to put up a wall so that you're not vulnerable to these types of people. They are very scared to show their weaknesses. They, if they genuinely help someone, they get scared because they feel that they're showing that they're weak or insecure, and these people are insecure. So that's why when they do something, it's not because they genuinely care, or they're genuinely sharing. It's because they're doing something that makes them look good, and it's something that they can feed off of to other people, and make themselves look good. They don't understand that we all have weaknesses. We all do, whether we admit them or not. we're all weak at something, you know, and we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. They feel that they are close to being perfect. And that's a big part of it. So by feeling this way, feeling that they're perfect, their egos are huge. They're huger, they're larger than the world. And they have these egos, they feed off them. They can't deal with any criticism that they're given. And I'm talking about constructive. I'm not talking about negative criticism because that's even worse. But even if you try to give them constructive criticism, they can't comprehend that. They don't understand it because in their mind, they're already as close to perfect as they can be. So they can't realize that they're wrong, even if they are. They are going to defend themselves, and they will not be able to accept that you are devaluing their work, or whatever they're doing. They believe that they deserve everything. They deserve everything. They feel they're entitled. They are entitled, and they continuously need to be rewarded even if they're not doing anything. They need to feed off that. They just deserve everything because they're perfect. And they think that life needs to be and should be exactly the way they see it. They can't look away from that vision that they have. And, a narcissist actually feels miserable most of the time. And the only way they can feel better about themselves is if they make you feel miserable, then that makes them feel better, which is really sad. And it's just really, really pathetic. They think they're always going to be great and they're always going to be successful just because they're them, and with them being perfect, that's the way it should be. And if you don't agree with them, they will think of you as their enemy, and you don't deserve their respect. You don't deserve their attention. You don't deserve their attention. You don't deserve anything from them. They do not feel they need to broaden their horizons or grow in any way because they're already there. They're already them, and that's all that's needed. That's all that's needed because everybody else is lower than them, and they criticize everybody. They criticize and they love to do it behind your back. Now, I'm going to be the first to admit, and if you deny this, you're lying, because we have all criticized others behind their backs. I've done it. I know other people have done it, and it gets back to us. We all know it. It's called life. We love to criticize others behind their backs because, and a lot of times, if I'm really, really angry, that's mostly why I do it. But at the same time, if I want to criticize someone, sometimes it's just because I don't agree with what they did. And I know they're not going to listen to me if I tell their face. So, I do it from a distance. But with them, it's more than just criticizing. It's giving judgment. And judgment is a very heavy word to me. And they give that judgment because they feel they're better than you. They're better than everybody else. So it's more of judging people. It's more than just being critical. And I have a comment here from Mark, and he says, selfishness and being a bully seems to be one and the same. I could not agree more. And that's what I know you and I have both seen in our lives. Selfish people are bullies, because they think they're better than everybody else. And they don't think that they're doing anything wrong, because when they're a bully, they're getting what they want. And that's what makes them happy, which is the pathetic part of it. And whenever they do have any type of thing that they do accomplish in their life, they have a huge lack of being humble. They are not humble in any way, shape, or form. There is no humility in these types of people whatsoever. I try to be really humble because I am truly blessed. I have been blessed with so many things in my life. I'm very lucky and very fortunate to have what I have in my life, but more particularly the talents that I have in my life. Someone's always going to be better than me. Someone's always going to be better than who we are, and someone's always going to be worse than what we are. So I'm grateful for what I do have and what I have been blessed with, as far as who I am in my life. But these people, they don't have the gift of being humble. So anytime they do anything, they will always go above and beyond to exaggerate what they have accomplished, to put them as high on the pedestal as they can get themselves. And it's pointless to try to bring these people, kick them down a notch, because it ain't going to happen. You know what? You're not going to be able to change their mind about anything. They are who they are. And it's sad because, when we are humble and we have humility about what we have and who we are, that's what helps us grow as an individual. Humility allows us to look at other people and see who they are and where they're at in their lives and what their upbringing was. And it allows us to see the differences in people and to learn and to grow from that and to appreciate the differences in each other. We should always appreciate what's different about each other. But when someone is selfish, they don't appreciate anything about anybody other than themselves. And it's the one thing that they definitely never want to happen, because this is very, very hard for them to take, is the worst thing that can happen to them if they fail and they do it where everybody can see it and everybody knows it's happened. They can't comprehend that they're a failure at anything, because they're perfect. So it's really hard for them to comprehend that. And, whenever they do have a failure and everybody sees it, they'll do a couple of things. One thing is they will definitely turn the tables and they will make it to be someone else's fault. Or if they don't do that, they're going to run from the situation altogether. They're just going to go hide somewhere and just go away from it altogether just to get away from it, but they will not think twice, about criticizing somebody else. They can't take criticism at all. And they expect you to not criticize them, but they're allowed to criticize whoever they want, however much they want, it's fair game to them. And their overall goal, it's a win at all costs, anything goes approach. Nothing is off the table with them if it means their ultimate happiness. It doesn't matter at whose expense it is. And, we find ourselves on that end, of the spectrum. And it's not fun to be on the other side of that. It's not fun to be on the other side of that coin at all. They will try as they can to wrap themselves around your little finger. And when they do that, you lose your self-esteem, you lose your self-confidence. And it's hard. It's really rough to feel that way. But, none of us deserve to feel that way. And none of us deserve to be treated that way by anybody else. So here's some feedback I can give as far as this. And, these are not easy people to deal with. And, I know we've had other conversations here online about people who are difficult to be around or be with. And unfortunately, these are the types of people you can't change. The only way these types of people change is if they want to. And, the odds are against you that they're going to want to do that. They just are who they are because they've done it for so long. And as life goes on and it gets longer, they're just not, you're not going to do anything. So the first thing you can do, just accept them. You can't change them and you can't change you. And you shouldn't change you if you like who you are. and you're happy with who you are, you have to accept the way they are. Don't waste your energy trying to change these people. It's just going to end up in frustration, and there's just no end in sight with these people. A narcissist is who they are. They're not going to change, and to waste your energy on someone like that is just not worth it. Um, they won't put your needs first. They're not going to be thoughtful and considerate, and they're going to look out for their own interests. So what you can do, though, once you accept who they are, is give yourself attention. We've talked recently before about cutting yourself some slack. Things are tough enough. And when you're around these types of people, shut that down. Shut it down. They only want the attention for themselves. They're not going to give it to you. And if they do, it's going to be phonier than baloney. They're not going to focus on you or your needs. They're not going to give you that legitimate attention. They're just going to lead you to be emotionally drained. So give yourself some attention. Do something for yourself. You absolutely should do it. I know I do it. I'm trying to do it a lot more now than what I used to, because, in some places in my life, I got to a point where I was just emotionally drained. I was really low. And, it's because of these toxic people that are around me. When I get in those states, it's because of my environment and the people that I'm around the majority of the time. And that's not a good place to be in. So give yourself that attention. You deserve it. And when you have to be around these people, by all means, you are dealing with a toxic individual. Do not go to their level. Do not go to their level. I know it's difficult. It's hard to not get triggered by them, because I've been triggered by them, and I know you have. It's because it's easy to fall into that. But you know what? Your energy, it's better to spend it somewhere else. Give yourself time to go to find another productive conversation rather than waste your energy and time with someone like this. This is all a game to them, and that's what they don't get. It's not a healthy existence. It's not something that most of us are like. They're the ones that are the exception, but they see that as their norm. So what they don't see, though, is it's a game. Don't get angry. Don't get frustrated. Remember, you're a loving person. You're who you are. Don't go to that level of toxicity. Stay true to yourself, because that's how you're going to stay happy. Don't give these people attention, because that's what they want. That's what they feed off of. They love to play the victim so that they will just suck that apathy out of you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. And they want you to fuss over them. They want to be center of attention. Ugh, yuck. Don't even go there. Forget that. And they always want to talk about what it's all about them. They want to talk about themselves, or what they're interested in, or what their likes are. You can't be around someone like that, because you're going to sit there with your mouth shut the whole time, just listening to constant babble from them. Me, 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 me. No one wants to hear that. No one enjoys that. You can try to feed in some stories about you. Now, they're probably not going to want to handle it, because they're not going to care, about you or how you feel or what interests you. But if they walk away from you, if they get annoyed by it, bye, so long, see ya. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. So don't go there. Know who you are, know your boundaries, know your rights. You have a right to speak up for yourself, just like they do. Everybody has a right to speak up for who they are and what you believe in and what you stand in. And, we all have that right. You may not agree with somebody else, and that's fine. That's why we're all different. We see different opinions. There's nothing wrong with that. And so if that is the case, you don't spend a lot of time around these people. Take yourself away from them. you don't deserve to be around someone who's just going to suck the living daylights out of you and your emotions. Limit your time with them, you know, and they may notice, they may say, they may complain because you're not around them all the time, but stand your ground. You know what? That's just them just drawing you back in again, to their, it's all about me, me, me. Come here, come here. Don't do that. Don't go to that toxic level again. Find some other people that interest you, that make you laugh, that are fun, that make you have you relax, that accept you for who you are. They're positive and they're uplifting. And they genuinely care about you and you care about them. And you have similar interests and you share the same things. You have things in common. Those are the type of people you want to surround yourself with. And if these toxic, selfish people, if they're really hurting you to the point where you just can't take it anymore and they're just destroying your life, just walk away from them completely. Take them out of your lives. I've done it. I've done it more than once. When I've found these people in my life, I haven't walked away from them. I've run. Sometimes you just gotta run. And there's no point, like I said, don't waste your time, don't waste your energy. They're not going to change. You got to look out for you. You got to take care of your emotional health and find those good people to bring into your life. They care about you and you care about them. Make it happy. Keep it real. Don't go into their game. Don't go into their world. It's just not worth it. They're not worth it. Someone that's like that, just not my thing. Not my thing. These are people who are very immature. They are very controlling because they're so insecure inside. But they've taken this path in their lives to take it to a different level to where it's very phony. And I feel very sorry for these people, but don't get me wrong. It's taken me a long time in my life to look back at those relationships that I've since left. And, the fact that I walked away from them at the time, I felt guilty about doing that. I don't now. It's taken me a while to get there, but looking back at those people, I realized how unhappy and insecure these people are, that they had to go to measures to make me feel lower about myself. And that made them feel better about themselves, which I really feel sorry about. And, I wouldn't, I don't condone who they are or what they've done. I don't condone that and I don't accept it. But I do feel sorry for them. And I would never wish anybody anything bad, no matter how I feel about anybody. We're all in this together. We need to support each other. And that's what this channel is about. And that's the reason I started it, is I just want to help. Plain and simple. That's who I am. And that's who I'm going to continue to be, because that's what makes me happy. And in saying that, I'm going to give you a little teaser about next week. And this is one topic that's true to myself. It's going to be a hard topic for me personally, but that's okay. Because when I talk about these topics, I told you I learn as well. So the topic next week I'm going to talk about is learning to forgive yourself. And I've been there many times where I haven't forgiven myself, and it's been a long journey to get to that point where I have. But I'm going to talk about that next week. So with that being said, I hope that all of you have a great weekend. Have a great week next week. Take care. Stay safe. And as we always say on this channel, we can do this. We got this. I can. And I will. And with that being said, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. I care about you. And remember, you are somebody and you're important to me. And never forget that. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you then. Take care.